Okay, so internet commentary has gone through the absolute roof, and sometimes it feels a little bit like we're in Alice in Wonderland, where people just say stuff and then this enormous eruption sort of happens and it all goes downhill from there, even on mildly more professional social media channels like LinkedIn. And so in this episode, I am going for an exercise in stating the bleeding obvious, which is that if you want to be liked, you actually need to be likable. So let's have a chat about that. My name is Chris Hargraves. I'm from knownlikedandtrusted.com.au, where we do digital marketing for law firms and lawyers. And we are going to talk about what seems like a bit of an exercise in stating the bleeding obvious, which is being nice to people is an important part of your marketing. Interestingly, it's not necessarily the case that you need to be agreeable, that is, that you need to agree with everyone about everything they say, but if you are going to enter your digital marketing space with a huge chip on your shoulder and a desire to just be enormously mean to people all around you, I do think that is going to create some hurdles. What's fascinating though is that in being hugely mean to people, you can actually develop a tribe of others who feel similarly about the people you're being mean to, and you could actually find that a successful marketing strategy. But I do not recommend it. I do not recommend it for a number of reasons. One, it can backfire very, very quickly where you're mean to the wrong kind of people or you're mean in the wrong direction, and all of a sudden you've alienated just far too many potential clients. I recognize that I have also talked about the idea of marketing on controversial issues and how that can be done and how it can be effective, but that's a little bit different from being nice to people. That is being likable. We are known, liked, and trusted. Remember, that's the whole brand name that I've gone with here. And we can tend to forget this likability factor when it comes into the way we present information and engage with people online. What are the mistakes we tend to make? Well, the mistakes we tend to make are not necessarily actually overtly being mean to people. I don't think there are too many lawyers whose risk-averse brains go, you know what, I'm going to get out there and I am just going to absolutely savage a whole bunch of people, and that will be a great marketing strategy. That said, I have seen a few people do that. I'm not going to say what their names are. They did it on purpose, and to some extent it worked for them for a while, but I still don't recommend it. The reason is that it's kind of soul destroying and it's not necessarily very effective. But the main problems that we have are usually not that. They are that we try to be just a little bit too bland and a little bit too professional, and in an effort to smooth out those rough edges of our personality for presentation to the world at large, we tend to smooth off just a little bit too far, and we end up not so much with we end up with no personality, let's be honest. There's just no personality left by the time we actually end up commenting, creating, writing on the internet. And so as a result, our internet persona is not that likable because we're just not that nice. Instead, we're bland. Now, bland might be inoffensive, but that is different from being overtly nice. So if you are going to engage with people, don't necessarily feel obliged to be what we would define as professional all the time. You can, for example, crack a joke from time to time, provided you can do so in a way that the internet will understand. You can post a funny meme from time to time. You can engage with people in a little bit of banter from time to time. You've just got to pick the people you're engaging with, make sure that there is an understanding there so that things aren't going to go enormously off the rails. And you know what? If you stuff it, just accept that you've stuffed it, apologize or delete it or whatever and move on. It doesn't break the world. If you make a single comment that is misinterpreted, if you say something wrong, if you express yourself in the wrong way, usually that's not going to be a career-destroying decision. There have been a few occasions where people have said something horrific and they have, for example, landed on the plane they were on immediately after they sent out the awful tweet, only to find that they'd been fired and had been absolutely lambasted publicly. Most lawyers aren't going to fall into that though. What we're going to fall into is the bland, unknown and unlikable category. Not that you are mean, but you're just not that likable because you're not letting your personality actually come through in your marketing efforts online. Okay? Being nice is not so much a passive thing in the way we're talking about it here. It is an active thing. You are genuinely trying to engage with people in a positive and likable manner. It is the case that sometimes you will see things on the internet that you do not agree with. You can do one of two things. You can find a way to engage with that sort of thing in a civil and rational and kind way, because I know this is shocking news to a lot of people who have seen the commentary on the internet recently, but it is possible to disagree with someone and still like them. It is possible to disagree with someone and have an exchange about that. Sometimes it doesn't seem like that's the case, but those people are out there, those topics do exist, and it is largely controlled by the way you want to present yourself. So sure, disagree with someone if you want to. You can do so in a likable way. And if you can't, I recommend you learn how, because it is actually quite a good skill to have for a lawyer, being able to disagree while being agreeable. Try and figure that mangling of the English language out if you can. Okay, that's all I wanted to say for this one. Be likable and nice and friendly in an overt fashion, as opposed to a dormant and passive fashion, which tends not to be so much likable as it is bland. And bland doesn't get us too far. You're not bland, probably. I suspect when you go face to face with people and have conversations with people that you're anything but bland. Just bring a little bit of that. You don't need to bring all of that. Bring a little bit of that to your internet presence, and you'll find you'll see much greater results. That's all. Head to knowandlikedandtrusted.com.au if you want more things or some reading or just really any reason at all. You might just like to go there, see what it's like. I'll see you next time.